All right, we are looking at dividing decimals by decimals. So just a quick review here of how to change between measurements. These are the measurements here that we usually use. But I included the other ones so you can see how they move up and down. So if I am going to change from meters to kilometers, okay, we would multiply by 1,000. Notice I have a hectometer here and a decameter here. I have no idea what those are even used for. But if I was going to move up one place here, I'm going to multiply by 10. Just think about it as place value. If you're moving up each section, you're going to multiply by another 10. So this would be multiplied by 100, and this would be multiplied by 1,000. If I was going to go the other direction, and I'm going to change from meters to centimeters, okay, so first would be decameters. I would divide by 10, and then I would go to centimeters, and I would be dividing by 100. And then to go to millimeters from meters, I would divide by 1,000. If I was going to go the opposite direction, I would do the reverse application there. So that would be times by 1,000 from millimeters to meters, times by 100 there, and decimeters to meters would be times by 10. Okay, same as coming back from kilometers, I would divide by 1,000. All right, so if I had a string that is 80 centimeters long, how many times will the smaller string that's 20 centimeters long fit into the larger string? So how would you know that? So we would check by taking more strings, right, and lining them up. And that's one way that we could check. Okay, so we know that 80 centimeters divided by 20 centimeters is going to be 4 centimeters, right? Okay, so right now, I just want you to stop and do questions 1 and 2, and then come back. Okay, so now I'm going to do these problems, but I'm going to change them. Okay, so I'm going to move from centimeters, and I'm just going to multiply both of these by 10. Because I'm going to move, if I go back, I'm going to go from centimeters to decimeters. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to multiply this by 10, and this is going to be decimeters, and then I'm going to multiply this one by 10, noticing I'm multiplying them by the same number. Otherwise, I'd be changing these units to different units. So if I multiplied this one by 100, this unit would end up being meters. Okay, so if I was going to do this problem, 96 divided by 12 is 8. And now if I did 9 and 6/10 divided by 1 and 2/10, it also is going to equal 8. And if you check on your calculator, that does work. And 9, if I'm going to estimate, divided by 1 is 9. So I am pretty close there. So I know that it would be relatively in that range. So if I'm multiplying both by the same number, so I'm changing the measurement that we're using, I'm just having you notice that it's going to come out with the same answer. All right, so I'm going to get you to stop and do question 3 right now. Okay, so if I'm looking at these problems, what would I multiply these by? in order to make these problems easier for me. So if I'm going to change them, am I going to change them by multiplying, and I'm going to multiply by 10? Am I going to multiply by 100, or am I going to multiply by 1,000 to make these problems easier? So just, I want you to stop right now and write that down. And all I want you to do is think about what you would change the problem from. You don't even have to do the problems. Okay, so to make this easier, if I was looking at this problem, okay, I would want to change so that the decimal was here. So what I would do is I'd multiply both of these by 1,000, okay, which means that the decimal place is going to move all the way to the end there. And then I'm going to multiply by 1,000, so I'm going to move 3 decimal places. So this number would end up being 80. And this would be much easier to work with. All right, for this one as well, we would multiply both by 1,000 to make a number that's easier to work with. So I would move the decimal place here 3 places, and the decimal place here 3 places, 18, to make it easier. Okay, so same here. I would multiply by 1,000. And so I'd move that decimal place 3 places. Okay, remembering I can add those zeros on at the end. So 1, 2, 3. So this would be 400. Okay, and for this one, I'd only multiply by 100. So this would be 624 divided by moving the decimal place 2 places, 40. And again, I find it easier. You might want to multiply by 100, doesn't matter. I still multiply by 1,000. I do it based on the number of place values there. So this would be 3 decimal places divided by, and then 3 decimal places, and that'd be 5. Okay, so I have 120 centimeters here divided by 60 centimeters. How many times will a string that is 60 centimeters long fit into a string that's 120 centimeters long? Right, so the answer to this would be 2, and not centimeters, just 2. Okay, now if I was going to change this and I have I'm using a different measurement, so this would be 1 2/10 meters divided by 6/10 of a meter. This is still going to be equal to 2. But it is much easier to think and solve the first division problem in your head. So to do the second one in your head, you would just multiply these by 10. Okay, so I have an exit ticket here for you. Part of it is to see if you can find the mistake, and the other part of it is to make sure you're watching the videos. But just to see your understanding. So what you're going to do is you're going to do this on a scrap piece of paper. You're going to take a picture of it, and you're going to put it into Moodle. Okay, so to divide 7 29/100 by 9/10, Juno converts both terms to whole numbers, as in the example that's here. Okay, so I want you to analyze what's there, and I want you to find what Juno's mistake was. And then you can go and finish the rest of your work.